Alright, how y'all doing? My name is Kashif Edwards. This is Armani Marshall, and welcome to the first episode of the Vending Biz, How to Gain Wealth and Financial Freedom. Alright, so the main reason we wanted to shoot this podcast was to give others who don't necessarily have the education or the resources a chance to gain that info from us and their endeavors to become financially free or to gain wealth. So with that being said, we're gonna give y'all a little bit of background about what we do. Obviously, a lot of people know me from on this platform. A lot of people know me from the Vending Biz page, where I help people get started in the vending machine business, which I've been in that business myself for the past 5 years. So you can tell them a little bit about what you do.
And I started off in the commercial cleaning business. I'm also in the vending machine business and in the real estate market as well.
All right. So the main purpose of this episode today is to give y'all a little background on us. So one thing we'll talk about is how we started, and then what's our plans moving forward and how we plan on helping y'all. So how did you get into the cleaning business? In the vending machines and everything else that you currently do?
I got into it. I got into it for a reason, and in the first place, I ended up losing my job. I just moved into an apartment that summer, and I ended up losing my job, I believe, around November. So I was basically looking for a way to make income. So I basically did my research, and I was looking at industries where I could make unlimited income with a little startup capital. That's when I came across the cleaning business.
Okay.
And from that point, that's when I got into it, basically.
All right, and I know just another thing to let people know. We've been doing business together since the start. So a lot of the stuff that he does, or I do, we consult with each other a lot. Even if we're not necessarily doing it together, we still consult with each other on the steps that we taking. And we also invest in one another's businesses, along the way as we were growing.
Yeah, and even the start, we wasn't doing things together.
Right.
We wasn't seeing eye to eye. He started the vending machine business, and I started the cleaning business. If we would have started off supporting each other in one industry in the first place, we probably would have took off with one way sooner than we did by ourselves.
Right. But as you grow, you learn the importance of having people there to support you. And I think that's very, very important with getting into any business, especially when it comes to growth. Because if you want to really grow and you want to be successful, you gotta have a team around you. You need help. You can't do everything by yourself, no matter if you think you can or not. All right, so I know for me personally, I started the vending thing. When did you start yours again?
2015.
All right, so we started at the same time. I started my vending machine business 2015. And the main reason I started was because I never really seen myself as an employee. Like I never really worked for somebody that I felt like should be my boss. It just never felt right. So for me, I always, in the back of my mind, from the time I got my first job until the time I worked my last, it was always in the back of my mind like I gotta come up with a plan to get out of here. So after graduating college, after graduating school, my plan was to save enough money. I was going to work, save enough money to get into real estate. So that was my first plan. But post graduation, I figured out I didn't know a lot. And you never know what you don't know. But after actually getting myself together, I saved up about $10,000 out. My first job, I got a bachelor's and a master's degree, right? So I got a bachelor's in sociology. I have a master's in sports management. And you have a bachelor's and a master's. What you have?
I have a bachelor's in recreation management, business marketing, dual major, and I have a master's in healthcare administration.
Right. So we got education, right? So I'm thinking like, all right, well, I got my master's degree. They telling me, I'm coming out of there with at least a job. I'm getting at the $50,000 salary. right? My first job, I was making $10 an hour. Lie to you not, but so that right there, alone kind of, didn't sit right with me. So I wanted more, and I wanted it now. Like I didn't want to wait for it. I didn't want to, I didn't want to take my chances on something else. But at that point in time, that's when I really started to begin to think about entrepreneurship as my goal. So at that point, I had that job. I used that job to save up about $10,000, and I moved my family from. At that time, we were living in Niagara Falls. We moved from Niagara Falls, New York, over to Philly, and then that's where I realized I didn't know what the hell to do.
Yeah.
Like, so my plan was to go over there, get another job, paying more money, save up enough money to get into real estate, and then just get in the real estate game, flipping houses. But didn't work out that way. Once I graduated, I found out I only had like a 400 and something credit score, and at that time I didn't even know what a credit score was until I had started looking into the real estate stuff and started trying to get apartments and all that type of stuff. And then the credit thing came up, and then I found out I had bad credit. And my credit was so bad I had got banned from using banks. I couldn't have a bank account for 2 years. So from 2015 to 2017, I couldn't even have a bank account, right? Because the situation I had with the banking when I was in college, they ended up banning me from 15 to 17, and I didn't even know, and I didn't understand why. So it took me some time to really understand financial literacy, to put a plan together, and to come up, to the point where I'm in now, where I have the vending thing, we're in the real estate, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, some things you just gotta teach yourself. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. It's just not for everybody, and everybody get into it for their own reason. Like he said, he already felt like he couldn't work for anybody from the start. Whereas with me, I lost my job. That's what kind of kicked it into gear for me to explore different options. And some people might even just have the benefit of it being passed down from their family or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we're making this podcast because we didn't have the benefit. A lot of things that we talk about is stuff that we actually did research on, and we went through the trial and error. I mean, we went through the fire.
Right.
Starting multiple businesses, and I can attest where I probably failed 5-6 businesses, or just the start of it, before I hit my one successful one with the cleaning business.
Right. So one thing I remember you saying, as we talked and as we were trying these different businesses, we were flipping cars, we're wholesaling houses, we're doing different things. It was like, we just gonna keep throwing stuff at the wall and something gonna stick.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna go through whatever resources we got, we're gonna try whatever businesses we can get into, and something gonna work, because we not gonna stop until it does, right? So I think that's a major part of being successful. Like, is you have to have that type of determination, to whereas you're not gonna stop until you become successful. It don't matter what happened. And I know at the end of the day, we had one set goal, and we was just flexible about our means to get there, whether it was through real estate, whether it's through vending business, whether it's through the cleaning business, whether it's through whatever. Like the end goal was, for us, it was like, this financial freedom,
Mm-hmm.
happiness, comfortability, and that type of thing. So
By any means.
by any means, right? So with that being said, man, I just think it's another reason this type of podcast is real important, is because a lot of people, will waste their time, waste their money, their resources, just exhausting themselves, just trying to find out what works and what doesn't work, and not really taking the proper steps to even get themselves a chance at being successful at whatever it is they're getting into. Right, so it's more so about having the right mindset, having the right resources, having the right game plan going into it, which is something you really, most of the time, if you're not lucky, you don't have no mentors, you just learn from trial and error, like like what we did, right? But luckily now we have resources all around us, and we can learn from others' mistakes. That's the best way to learn.
So what made you get into entrepreneurship? And what was your first example when you was younger? that led you into it, or people that you've seen? What was it for you?
For me, I would have to say, like we coming from the hood, like you see things that you want, like you see the people who out here getting money, and they not working, like you know what I'm saying. They got the fancy cars, they got the jewelry, they got the sneakers, they got everything, they got the girls. So it's like for me, it was like I wanted that. I not only wanted that stuff, I wanted that freedom because on the same type time, I watched my mom go to work every day, like she putting food on the table, but but you're not there. You get what I'm saying? Like so, it's like you get the money, but then you don't have the actual freedom. Like so, for me, it's always been more so about not only having the means to get that stuff, but you know, also the ability to have that freedom and still get by. And as I got older, it became less about the stuff and it's more about the freedom. Like, cause you want to be there for your family, you want to be around, but you also want to be, comfortable financially.
Goals definitely change over time. I think for me, my first example was my dad. Back in the day, he was in the real estate. He had his own arcade. He had car dealership. He was into a lot of things. So when I was 10 years old, I had a house. I used to go up there, fix up the house. He used to tell me this was what I was gonna move into when I got older, and it didn't work out to that point because things happened and he lost it all. But that for me, that was my first example of seeing a hustler, and it was my dad actually. And the crazy thing about it is, my dad's taught me nothing about the real estate business. He's taught me nothing about business in general, even though he had it all.
Right.
So sometimes we get in those type of situations where we might have the people that's supposed to be teaching us these things, the older generations, our parents, our older friends, and they just might not put us in position like they're supposed to do.
Right.
And to each his own. We don't know the situation, but we know, far as with us, this is what we trying to change going forward.
And I think that's major, man. I really think that's major because, it's a lot of parents out here. I'm sure they wish looking back on it, they probably wish they would have taught that financial part, at least what they know, like they know, like so. That's one thing I really want to make sure I do. With my kids, is teach them everything that I know about financial literacy. So when they actually get out here to get on their own, they got a chance, like and they got support, versus us out here more so just out here just figuring out as you go through trial and error. Even with some of the people that I work with the mentorship and whatnot, a lot of them, put their kids in positions to where they're buying them machines or they're putting them in certain spaces, just to see examples like your dad, like you saw your dad, or they're giving them resources to do their own thing. I think that's great. That's really what we need as a community to do more of, to give our people a better shot at becoming financially free. So, all right. So what's one of the biggest obstacles like you overcame?
I think the biggest obstacle for me was actually doing business with my family, and my family actually basically not doing their job. I had family members that was employees, and they wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing. So the biggest obstacle was figuring out a way to fire them. Even though as a family member you're gonna try to give them extra chances just off of that alone. So I was trying to figure out what was the best way to go about it. And this is a family member that that's older than me. I'm a kid at the time, or I'm a young adult at the time, and my employees are 10 plus, 20 plus years older than me. So the biggest obstacle for me was definitely knowing when to cut people off, whether it's family or whether it's friends.
I think that's a topic too. That could be a topic in itself, but that's it's like you always want to put the people on around you. You always want to put family on, put them in positions to do good. But it's like at the same time, certain people will abuse that relationship because they think because it's because you family, because you a friend or whatever it may be, they can get away with stuff they wouldn't try to get away with if they was working for the next man, like somebody they don't know. So that is definitely a hard balance to figure that out, and you really gotta really set the boundaries and the guidelines from the beginning. But that's not something you would know until you actually been through it.
And you also got to remember that everybody don't want what you want, out of your business. So everybody is not going to put in that effort, that you put in because it's your business, this is your brand.
Right.
You might have somebody, they just looking at, even though they working for you, you might be friends or family, they looking at it as, well, this is still a job at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Versus you, okay, I'm trying to build a brand, I'm trying to build an empire, so you might take it more seriously.
Now you definitely gonna take it more
As
seriously.
they should take it more seriously as well.
Right.
But sometimes those things are gonna happen, man. You gonna cross those paths at the end of the day. Everybody, your friends, your family, everybody's not gonna make it,
Right.
at the end of the day. You've done business with people that you might have started with. I've done business with family, friends that I've started with that's not here today. And we still doing business together, even though we haven't been, we don't see eye to eye on everything, but we definitely, console each other with every move we make.
Right. But I mean, it's important to have that balance too, because even though I think it's a good thing we don't see eye to eye, because you don't want somebody that's just going to agree with everything that you're doing, and and vice versa, because it's not going to challenge you in any type of way. Like, it's good to have a person that's going to really question what you're doing, so that makes you second guess what you're doing, like giving you some type of balance. So let's see here real quick. So as far as the obstacles I overcame, I would say the biggest one for me was when I lost. After I finally set myself free, right? So after I finally built my business up to the point where I didn't have to work anymore, and I quit my job, I lost my top 2 locations. So at that time, I had 3 locations. I had a hotel, which was more like a motel.
Yeah, where was that though? Where was
Motel. So so the actual spot was a motel called Liberty Motel on Germantown Ave over here in Philly. So anybody knows that spot, familiar with that spot, knows how crazy it is. That thing was filled with drug dealers, smokers, and all types of stuff. But it was really a good location, mainly because of what makes a location good. Like, it was no other stores around there. They obviously had long hours. It was always open because it was a motel. Ton of foot traffic. Popular spot for what it was. So when I lost that, the city basically came and shut that down. That's how I lost that. They shut the whole motel down. And then when I lost that, at the same time, my second next spot up was my second best spot up was high school. So this is around going in the summertime. So the high school is closed in the summer anyway. So it still has some traffic because they have summer school and different events that go on in that time frame. But for the most part, it's closed. Like, so, the sales went from, in the high school, I was getting about $1,000, like $500 per machine, from the school. But in the summertime, it's going to go down to probably about $400 or something, maybe like $200 per machine.
And what you was making at the motel?
The motel was doing about $800 per machine.
Because I want people to know how much you lost in that span of different locations.
Right. So, and then I had a apartment building at that time too, but I had got it. It was a new construction, so I got that because they had just built the building and they were filling it up, getting things in there, and they took on the vending machine as amenity, like it's one of their amenities. So, that's still not a serious income yet because it's still in the process of being filled and being finished. I just got in there early. But long story short, I ended up losing that. So at that point, I had some money saved. I had nice credit, and I had, I decided to cut the job and just go in. But when I lost that, it was like, all right, what I'm doing now. But at that same time, you know, in the midst of that, right before that, I had put my money up for my wedding because I was getting married. So put the money up for the wedding, but I'm thinking, all right, it was about like 20,000 I had saved up. But I'm thinking, all right, well, I'm gonna get it right back because I got X, Y, and Z. But as soon as I put that money up, stuff started falling apart. Like it should, and then I can see like, all right, damn, it's not coming back. It's not gonna come back. But you know, I'm in a wedding. I'm not even thinking about that right now. So after all the stuff is over, we out Jamaica. You know, you was there. You already know. We out there having a good time. We out there for a week or so. Come back, and that was like, all right, well, I gotta figure this out. Now, I still got a couple of dollars left over. And I gotta, you know, my biggest thing was, all right, what am I going to do to get money without going back to work? So mainly, I just started using like the credit cards I had just to try to stay afloat until I could get another location to try to, you know, keep it going. But I couldn't find one in time, and I had to go back to work mainly because, you know, it got bad. Like I used up all my resources. I maxed out my credit cards. And you know, it was really a low point for me because, you know, after feeling that taste of freedom, it was like, damn, now I gotta go back to being, you know, stuck. Like every time I got a job, I just feel like I'm stuck. So and you know, I really had to bite that bullet, go ahead, go back. But at that point in time, I wrote a letter to myself, which I actually shared with you the other day. I wrote a letter to myself. It was August 16, 2017. And I just noted like how I felt. I noted all the things like that was occurring at that time. Like I wrote down my credit score. I wrote down how much money I had in the bank. I wrote all that down. This as a motivation, and I put that right by my bed near my son's like crib so I could see it every morning when I got up in the morning, just to give me that motivation that I needed to keep going. You know, and that probably, you know, that was the biggest obstacle, you know, for me, is just to build back from that, like to get to the point where I wanted to be, and then have to start all over, like basically just start from scratch, like figure it back out.
Yeah, and I want to touch back on my obstacle as well, because I got to a point in my cleaning business where I was making a good amount of money, probably close to 15, 16 grand a month. I had multiple Rite-Aids in the city. I had all the Foreman Mills in the city. I had these SCS tire shops. I had 25 of those inside Philadelphia County and surroundings. I had restaurants as well. And when the things happen, when, you know, employees and family members, I had employees coming up, you know, going to work high, getting into fights with each other. My girlfriend at the time was covering a couple locations for me. And she was pregnant too at the time. So my goal for her was basically, you know, to work for a month or so, and then we'll be able to, once I put somebody in there, we'll be able to manage the locations that I had in her area. And she chose to choose a job that she wanted to work at versus, you know, working under me, because she didn't want to clean. And you know, when you have a job, if you're already pregnant, you know, you don't get that leave time. You know, so she eventually got the job, and she basically got fired because of that, because she didn't have enough time, you know, being there. Mm-hmm. And then I lost the stores that I had in her area. That was 10 stores that I had in her area. And then it just trickled down from...
So how did you lose the stores?
I lost the stores because she wasn't showing up. she just wasn't showing up, and then I had to go out to these stores. And then when she did that, I had a subcontractor that was working for me that had the restaurants, and she ended up, basically her peoples ended up flooding one of the offices in the restaurant. So I lost 2 restaurants from there. One restaurant was $9 grand a month, and the other one was $6,500 a month. They both was gone like that, you know. And then the following month, I lost those 10 stores, and then it was a fight that broke out in the Foreman Mills that I had, and I lost all 5 of those. And then I lost the stores down here because I had people coming to work that was high and whatnot. So I lost it all, you know. So that was really my...
Oh, bro.
So that was my big obstacle as far as, you know, of what actually went down. You know, I wanted to give y'all the real of what really happened. And
I think something else is important in that too. So the rebuild, the actual rebuild part of that, for me personally, when I went back to work, it was like, all right, well, I'm just not about to be working and saving like $100 here, $200 there to try to rebuild. It was like, yo, I'm about to put 5 years worth of work, 2 years worth of work into a couple months, like, because basically I went in and I got one job, then I got another job on top of that, then I got a part-time job after that. So I had two full-time jobs and a part-time job. I was working 3 to 11, 11 to 7, and I was also working 9 to 2.
I remember that.
Yeah,
we had two jobs together.
Right, exactly. And then my 3 to 11 job had actually agreed to let me go a little early so I can make it to my 11 to 7. And then, I did that for a while, like a little over a year, but just so I can get to the point where I could, save up enough money and then rebuild, which is my goal. And then on the roughest part of that, man, it was this, and this is the part of entrepreneurship, the grind when you already down, it's like, yo, what you gonna do to get back up? Like, doing that, I was falling asleep at stop signs, driving, walking, like, I'm taking naps in the car before I even go. I got an hour, 30 minutes between the time I pull up at the, because I was doing TSS, which is working with kids in schools, between that 9 to 2. So when I get off at 7, I get there a little early. I'm taking a nap in the car before I even walk in there. Like, so, it was hard. Like, it definitely was hard because at that point, I'm not seeing the family. I'm just super tired. I'm not eating. I'm not exercising. I know one thing I love to do was play basketball, and that was really, I had to really sacrifice that. And that was even hard because I would see a lot of people playing, like, on social media or here and there. I'm like, damn, like, I don't even remember the last time I even touched the ball, mainly because I'm just out here trying to go after, my goals, you know what I'm saying, my dreams.
It's definitely beauty in the struggle, and when you fail, the positive thing about it is when you fail, you don't have that fear anymore.
Right.
Because you already done hit rock bottom, so the next time, you kind of bounce back even faster, because now you know where you went wrong at, now you know how to get it back, and you know how to get it back even faster, so you're going to cover what you didn't cover in the first place. So you're gonna cover, trying to maintain the success because we both experienced it. So now it's maintaining it. It's getting to the point where, you have the employees, you have the credit, getting funding also. That's important for us, starting out in business. If you can get some type of government funding to save you from working multiple jobs. And that's one thing we don't have the benefit of sometimes, as well as the resources to get those type of things. But hey, that's what we're here for.
Right. And that's definitely what stopped me too, because even with the real estate thing, it was cheaper ways to get into real estate, but a lot of them involved like credit, having the right credit, and that's something that, we didn't have or we had to work to get, and then when I finally got it, I lost it, like, at the same time I got it, like, so what was your first entrepreneurial experience, like, growing up, or this period?
My first experience was, I believe, fundraising when I was playing basketball, starting to play basketball, and we didn't have a means of, making any money. My mom, I wasn't really too good starting off anyway, so my mom didn't really support it because she thought it was, she wanted me to work and whatnot. So I got discovered by a coach, and as far as with the team, we basically was fundraising for everything. So if it was a tournament to go to, if it was leagues, we was on the corner basically. Adams Ave, Adams Run. If anybody from Philly, they know exactly what I'm talking about. We was on all four corners. We making $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a weekend just to fund, ourselves to even making a tournament. And that's not something kids do nowadays. You don't see too many people fundraising because it's like it's a what would you call it? It's a pride thing. You don't want people to see you, your friends and whatnot. But like I said, you a true hustler, you an entrepreneur. You gotta go through those things. You gotta do those things because, like I said, we don't have the resources, and so. That brings me to you because I know you did something similar as well.
Right.
So what was your first entrepreneurial experience?
You know, and it's crazy, you know, even at the time while doing it, I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was. Like, so, but this was, I think, you know, this was something that was always been kind of in my spirit, I guess. My first entrepreneur experience was when I was younger. Me and my brother would look for different ways to make money, like mainly during the summertime. Like, so during the summer, one thing we would do, we'll buy cases of water for like, I think they'd be like $4 or $5, right? Then we'll go on Roosevelt Boulevard, which is a big like, you know, highway for anybody that's not from Philly, highway type of place, expressway, I guess you would call it. But we'll stand in the middle of that, and then at a light. So we'll stand right there at the light where all the cars stop, and then we'll just sell waters right there. We out there selling waters in the heat, walking through all the traffic.
Dangerous game.
Dangerous, super dangerous.
People get killed on Roosevelt.
Right. All they was people always on the news getting killed.
Yeah.
But we be right there selling waters. Like we'll run through 2 or 3 packs. And we'll do that. We did that like a few times a week. And we didn't even really do anything with the money. We brought a bike, I think, one summer. And most of the time, we just went to chips and candy and all that type of stuff. But that was really my first experience, man. Outside of that, I know in that same type of time frame, this was around when I was probably maybe like 13, 14, 15, like around that span. We also did, we would go to the pizza store, and they would let us clean up, or they would let us fold boxes and give us like a certain amount per box. I think it was like 50 cents or a quarter like per box that we got done, as far as like folding them. We would also go to people's yards, and we'll clean like the yards, but we cut the grass or rake. If it was winter time, sometimes we shovel.
Oh yeah, shoveling. You make a killing shoveling.
Yeah. So we did different things, man. And I know one thing, it really brought me to the actual vending machine thing, you know, is where I'm at now, was when I got to like 17, after I started playing basketball, whatever, we was in recreation centers a lot. And I seen a lady, it was always a lady who would service the machines. It was a Gatorade machine. So the machine had Gatorades and waters in it, which is similar to what I was selling. But I never really paid attention to the machine until I started noticing her come in on the weekends and taking the money out and then putting, you know, more products in. But it caught my eye when I seen how much money she took out one time. I was like, damn, like it was a lot of money she put out that machine. Then I started paying attention to people using it, you know, and whatnot. And I thought, like, damn, it's basically like the same thing I was doing, like, except for the machine is working for it. Like, she ain't got to do nothing but put the stuff in there, and then it's going to spit it out, versus you standing on the corner somewhere and selling it by hand. So that's what caught my attention with that, and that was kind of my first experience with entrepreneurship. Yeah, man. So that's kind of what led me into it. So what's your overall goal? Like, why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Like, what's the purpose behind it?
My overall goal is financial freedom. You know, I don't even like the feeling of knowing that somebody has the power to control my money or can cut me off at any given point. You know, when I lost my job back then, I was having my first child at the time. So I had to do something to, you know, make another income. So my goal is financial freedom, truly passive income. I'm talking like not working for it. That's why I love the vending business, because you putting products in it, you refilling maybe twice, maybe 3 times a month if it's a great location. But besides that, the money is working for you. You're making money in your sleep. Just want to provide for my family, you know, and multiple streams of income, real estate, to the vending, to the cleaning, and any other passive income that just makes sense for me. That's really my overall goal. You know, how about you?
I know for me, my overall goal is just freedom. Right. So my main thing is just I want to be free. I don't want to feel tied down to nobody. I want to be able to spend my time with my family, come and go as I please. You know, and I don't want to feel like I got my life in somebody else's hands, because that's one thing I always felt when I was working. It's like, man, somebody fire you today or tomorrow. It's like, what you gonna do? Like, you know, and they play with that. So I mean, And they play with that, so much. My first job experience, or one of my first job experience, coming out of college, I had a sales job, which really taught me a lot, in terms of marketing and whatnot. It was a good opportunity for me to learn, but it was a horrible job. I had a sales job, and they always really pressured you to get sales. So whenever you wasn't, it was like they was dangling your job in front of your face. So, like, I just hated that feeling. And I never even felt that pressure, but I didn't like, it was the people around me. I would see them, how nervous they would be, and me myself, I kind of always had good sales, so they never did it to me, but I seen how it affected other people, and I could always just see myself in that situation. Same thing with the other job. The other job we worked together, people got fired from there every day.
Left and right.
Left and right. Like
everybody
around me was like getting fired. It was like, damn, like, it can happen to me any day.
I got fired.
Right, you got fired. So it was like, it can happen to me any day. I went in there with like 3 or 4 people. Like, everybody got fired, but so I was the last one standing. Like, so, I that feeling though is just like, it's bad. Like, I never want to feel like somebody could just take everything away, and I'm just like, damn, how I'm going to pay my bills, how I'm going to feed my family. So that's like my biggest motivation. But I think overall, when it comes to entrepreneurship, you need a why. Yeah. You need a big ass why. You need a reason you're doing it, because it's going to get tough. Things are going to get hard. Like now, it's we dealing with the quarantine thing. Things are hard for a lot of people, especially in business. So you really got to have your why to pull you through. Like, that's what's going to help support you. That's what you got to stand on, because without that why, you'll cave.
That's what separates you. That's what separates you from the next person.
Right.
Your why, your motivation, and anything. Even in sports, you look at the best players in the world. What separates them is wanting to be the best.
Right.
In business, wanting to be successful.
Right.
Even with it don't have to be to that degree, but if you need any type of motivation, you can look around you. Are you in a situation that you that you really okay with?
Right.
You see your mom working paycheck to paycheck. Are you okay with that, or do you want to be able to give her or buy her a house or buy her a car? You don't have to do it to a grand scheme of things, but just having the ability to do so, I think is something that he always wanted and that I've always wanted as well.
Right. I think everybody's why is going to be different. Like, your why, whatever your why is going to be, what it's going to be. But you just got to make sure you have it. Because if you don't got it, then you're not going to last.
And you can't teach it.
You definitely can't teach it. It got to be something, whether it's to help maybe you want to see your son, or you want to see your kids better. Maybe you want to help your mom. Maybe you want whatever. It can't be shallow though. Like, some people's whys are shallow. Oh, I want to make more money. Oh, I want to buy a fancy car. Like, those things, it can't be your why, because it can come too easy. Yeah. Like, and then once you get it, then what? Like, then you going forward. Like, you ain't gonna have nothing else to help keep you going. Like, if your goal was just to get a car, okay, now you got the car. Now what? You know what I'm saying? You want to get a house. All right, you got a house. Now what? You need something you can really stand on. That's really going to get you through. All right. So, with all that being said, you got anything else you want to add to this?
No, I don't actually. Just tune into the next episode.
All right. So tune into the next episode. We will be talking about some vending stuff. We'll get some vending information out there for y'all. We're gonna be talking about business in general, and then really try to help people get on the right path in terms of where to go, how to start their business, and the right mindset to have behind it.
Yeah.
All right. See y'all next time.